Okay, first off, this video is not for deep understanding of this, so I'm just going to show you the algorithm of how to graph this. If you're presented with a linear equation, an inequality in this case, and you're supposed to graph it, this is what I would do. Okay, first off, so we're looking for all the points that make this true. All the x's and y's that make this true when they're combined together. So the first step I would do is get y by itself. So solve for y. So minus 5x to both sides of the equation. And so you'd have negative 3y is less than negative 5x plus 9. Then you got to divide by negative 3 across the entire equation to get y by itself. And when you divide by a negative number or multiply by a negative number, when you have inequalities, you have to flip the inequality. So y is greater than 5/3 x minus 3. Okay, so now we'll graph this. And let me pull up a graph paper. Oops, pulled it the wrong direction. There we go. We'll get it out of the way of everything. Okay, so there's my equation, there's my graph. So this is now in the form, somewhat in the form y equals mx plus b. It still works the same. M is your slope, b is your y-intercept. So when you do this, so negative 3 is my y-intercept. Here's my y-axis, here's my x-axis. You would go down 3 and make an open circle. I'll explain that in a second. And then from there, you do your slope. You go up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, over 3, 1, 2, 3, and make another open circle. And then it would be a dotted line.
GeoGebra.
Yes, that's fine. Okay, and then you shade above it. So all of these points up above that dotted line are true. The reason I dotted the line is if you plug those in, those would be false. So for instance, just to kind of show you what I mean, if you plug in the point 0, 0, that's within the shaded region, into your original, you should come up with something that's true. Well, if x is 0, you'd have 5 times 0 minus 3 times 0. Is that less than 9? Well, yeah, that's 0 minus 0. Definitely 0 is less than 9. That is true. However, if you pick something that's on the dotted line, or in this area that's not shaded, so let's just pick 0, negative 3, since that's kind of easy, and plug that in. So I'll do that over here. So 5 times 0 minus 3 times negative 3, is that less than 9? Well, that's 0, so you got 9 less than 9. Well, that's false. That doesn't work. And that's the case with all the points along this dotted line. They're all false. That's why I have an open circle. But all of these points above the line, since it's greater than, every single point out here would be true in that equation. So it's a way to show all of the true responses. So let's compare that to another equation. So here's a second example. So let's say you had, let's go 5x minus 2y, let's go plus 2y, is greater than or equal to 10. Okay, again, I would solve for y. So minus the 5x. And again, I'm building these so that you could hit stop and do the problem ahead of me and then check your answer. So that's a good way to study for a math test. Then you divide by 2 all the way across. You don't have to flip the inequality anymore, and so you got y is greater than or equal to negative 5/2 x plus 5. Okay, again, we'll graph that. Pull in some graph paper. And so in this case, I'm just going to do this again very quickly. You go up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's your y-intercept. Your slope is negative 5/2, so you go down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right 2 would be right there. And this time it would be a solid line, and the circles are filled in because those are true. And then greater than is anything above that line again. You got to think of driving a car up a hill. the car side is the greater than side. Underneath the car, it's the less than side. So anyway, that all these points are true. And so let's test it out. Like here's a simple one. This one's 2, 0. So if you plug in 2, 0 into the original equation, you'd have 5 times 2 plus 2 times 0. Is that greater than or equal to 10? Well, yeah, 10 is greater than or equal to 10. That's true. But let's try 0, 0. Notice 0, 0 is right there. That should be false when we plug it in. Well, plug that in. 5 times 0 plus 2 times 0. Is that greater than or equal to 10? Well, is 0 greater than or equal to 10? No, it's not. That's false. So you found, by shading that region in again, you found every single point that would work in that equation without having to list the infinite possibilities out. So I hope this helps. See you next time. Have a good one.